On IMDb, 3.9 says the downside to Rebel Moon is that it felt too short, but I would have given the movie 1 star due to Netflix's absurd way of cutting the movie down to 2 hours and deteriorating the director's true vision of the film. The movie felt quite rushed in various scenes. One didn't get the chance to get to know the characters more, and I wished there was more depth. But I like the movie because Zack Snyder introduces something new, which we haven't seen in many years. I hope we get to see more of the main characters and more scenes without slow motion. The advantages of the movie are that it introduces something new and feels good and entertaining to watch. The downside is that it felt too short and everything happened too quickly. 10 stars.
That review, and not just because of the way you read it, sounds sarcastic. Because all the things they liked are not true. And all the things they didn't like are, those are real complaints. Like
7 out of 14 people found this review helpful on IMDb.
Okay.
I genuinely don't know if this review is sarcastic. Because there's not enough in here. There's not enough jokes to suppose that this is sarcastic.
Yeah.
Or to imply this is sarcastic. We've read 10-star reviews before where it's like capitalization of words like amazing and great and awesome. But this has none of that.
Yeah. This movie sucks.
Hello, and welcome to the Royds Review Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Andy.
And we are back once again to discuss Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Andy, how are you?
Very good, Robbie. I'm all right. How about you, Robbie?
I'm good. Now, did you spend the week gooning after finding out what that meant last week?
I did not spend the week gooning. Because I still have a very loose understanding of what gooning is. I mean, I feel like you said you just lock yourself in a room and you crank it.
You just nailed it.
That's it? That's what gooning is.
For days on end, hours, days.
I don't
weeks, months, years,
I don't have the stamina.
Centuries.
Oh my goodness gracious. Enox.
Hey, listeners, if you buy what Andy's selling, and I don't, you could tweet, I don't think Andy spent the week gooning. But if you think Andy's telling the truth, or whatever, you know what I mean, tweet, Andy spent the week gooning.
Yeah.
Andy, how you doing?
I'm good. I was gooning in another way. I
don't like the Andy. Andy, no.
I was standing in an alley and I was just working for the Penguin, you know.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I said, when's the bat gonna show up?
Andy, did you see Rebel Moon when it came out?
No.
You said that quite indignantly.
Yeah, because who fucking cares?
This was the #1 movie on Netflix when it came out.
To who? Name one person who's like, yeah, I watched that day it came out.
Zack Snyder.
That's probably true.
And Zack Snyder has a bunch of kids. He has a lot of kids.
Does he?
Yeah.
Huh.
On Wikipedia, next to children, it said 8. So right there, that's a bunch of people watching this movie.
That's true.
And I'd imagine all the stars of this movie watch this movie.
Maybe.
And don't they also have those like watch farms in China of people just watching Netflix films?
Is that true?
That's what I've heard. And if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
That's also that's true. Yeah. I heard it through a Zoom, and that's over the internet. So it has to be true.
I heard it through the grapevine. How much longer will you be mine, Andy? I did not see Rebel Moon when this initially came out either. This had a very limited release, so I obviously don't know anyone who saw this in theaters.
Yeah, this is it's just like well, I don't even have words. You know what? Let's just start talking about it.
I feel like what happened is a lot of people saw this movie when it came out. A lot of people we know saw this movie when it came out. But what happened was they didn't talk to anyone about it because they just assumed like, oh, everyone's seen this movie before. Because it came out 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also a nothing movie. So like if you watch a nothing movie, what do you have to say about nothing, you know?
Well, that's also true. There's nothing. This movie washes over you and you don't pick up on anything.
No. I mean, should we start? Should we get into it?
Yeah, we might as well. I think we open up with this music, and the music,
instead of an opening crawl, it's just a guy talking over a sweeping shot of a spaceship.
Let's be a little better than that, Andy. Some guy.
Who's talking?
This is Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that's the robot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Some guy. Whew, Andy.
Well, it might as well have been some
No.
guy.
The movie's opening. It's clearly Anthony Hopkins' voice. You show some respect to the great Anthony Hopkins.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
But did you retain any of that information?
No, none of it.
No, Robbie.
What I picked up on was I watched this movie twice this week.
Yikes.
One thing I've begun doing is I watch the movies once at work so I can write my song, and then once at home so I can take my notes.
Okay.
I watched this movie at work and said, I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
and I couldn't write my song until I watched the movie again. But during this opening, during Hopkins' narration, when I'm watching it at home, Laura goes, this music just sounds like Lord of the Rings. And I was like, eventually it just becomes Duel of the Fates.
I don't even remember the music.
Eventually it becomes Real quick, thank you so much for listening. If you want to send us some feedback, send us an email at roydsreview@gmail.com. That's ROYDSREVUE@gmail.com.
You could also find our music on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your music, by searching The Royds. That's ROYDS. We have 2 albums and a Christmas song. Hope you like it. Huh.
It doesn't do that. Oh, I did retain some of what he said because I wrote it down, by the way.
Okay.
Which is cheating.
Okay.
That's not retaining it. That's paying attention. He said a king has died, and the Senator Belisarius is going to take power.
Okay.
So we meet Cora. She's the star of the movie. She is farming. She sniffs the dirt for some reason.
Yeah, I find that some of this looks good and some of it doesn't. Like, this does not look good. Like, they're clearly just on like a big blue screen or something, or like maybe the what do they call that thing? That big room that you're in where the cameras follow you and like it projects.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The volume.
Yes.
So it's either that or a big blue screen. It's just very, very evident. There's like nothing in the background other than space. It's just, it looks bad.
There's so much of this movie where there's no sense of perspective or distance in any of these shots because it's all clouded out. Everything gets clouded out because, like you said, it's just in a big box.
Yeah.
And they make sure, all right, to make it look as good as we could possibly look, it's just going to be, all right, everything's going to be cloudy, everything's going to be misty.
Yeah. My first note is, why do we have log cabins with electric doors? Your aesthetic is
Space.
stupid. That's
It's,
stupid.
yeah, space aesthetic.
It's stupid. Everybody's like wearing fucking like drab, like fucking wool sacks. Like that's what they're wearing. But then their doors go like, come on.
That's
That's
Star
dumb.
Wars too, though.
And it's dumb.
All
At
right.
least Star Wars, they were wearing like robes that looked quasi futuristic, you know? This
Yeah,
they're just wearing like regular clothes.
they did look Quasimodo.
Very good, Robbie. You son of a bitch.
So this guy comes down looking for Cora, and he tells her that, hey, we caught a big snow elk, and the village has a roast. This guy, Den, has a thing for Cora. And then the leader of the village, Sindri, tells everyone, go fuck tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it wet, villagers, for the gods. Gods of voyeur he wants to watch.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but sure.
God
Sure.
wants full penetration.
I didn't hate this movie right away. I didn't like the opening with the narration, like I said. But I thought that they do a pretty significant job once that spaceship comes and they're like, "Oh shit."
So you liked Inglorious Bastards in space.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Because it's just Inglorious Bastards.
That's all that is. This
Like,
guy's walking around. I was like, come on.
he's literally just a Nazi in space.
Yeah. The outfits are dead on. Even the symbolism they have.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, this is so on the nose.
Yeah. And then he's got a shillelagh? What's that about?
I have no idea what that is.
They got space lasers and this guy's walking around with a shillelagh.
But this thing seems more powerful than a regular shillelagh. Like,
Well, I think it's because he's like a kind of a robot man.
yeah, which we find out at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert.
I don't know. It's just like none of this, none of it, not even a fucking ounce of it is explained. Like, it's just like, hey, check this out.
Well, that's the thing. That's just something I was talking to Laura about when we were watching this movie, is when we watched like Rogue One, and you said, and you were kind of correct, like, hey, you're just thrown into this world, you don't know what's going on.
Sure.
But in this, Zach, this is the first movie of this world, and you've just thrown us into it.
Yeah. Even Zack Snyder's fans can agree. He's not great at like storytelling. Like there's not, like, look at Batman versus Superman. There's barely any dialogue between the two leads.
Right.
But at the end they're duking it out and it's like, but why? And that's a lot of what this movie is. It's just like, but why? But why? Because nobody's characters are built up in any way. Like Cora, the only thing we know about her is she's a badass. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
we spend so much of this movie doing flashbacks to give Cora's backstory. And it's like, we needed more in the beginning of this movie. So I knew this because we just dive in. I'm like, all right, you're telling me why I should care during the movie?
yeah, it's just like something about it. The pacing is so absolutely fucked in this movie. It's like it'll move at a crawl, like the beginning. And like, I think that's probably the strongest part is the beginning. But again, it's just derivative of a better movie. And then it's like, oh, here's this character. Boom, his story's done. He's joining us. All right. There's this character. Boom, their story's done. Now they're joining us. Like, this should have been episodic. Like, you should have made a show.
That I agree with. This should have been a TV show, because I liked the idea of we're putting a team together.
Sure.
If you're going to do that, awesome. But like you said, let's get a 6 to 8 part TV show.
Yeah. And like give us time to give a shit about any of this.
Yeah. Let me learn more about these characters.
I said, if you're reading by candlelight, but your doors go swish, your aesthetic is stupid.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what? That's fair because in Star Wars, the people who have the doors that go swish have electric lights, have LED
Yes.
lights and shit. But
Yes.
the people who have candle lights live in caves.
Yes.
It's the haves and have-nots.
Yes. It's almost like it's saying something. But what is this saying?
Well, it hits you over the head pretty hard.
Nazis are bad.
Yeah.
I liked how before the Nazis show up, they're just like, hey, do not mention that we gave the rebels food.
Right.
Right? And then like it seems to be going relatively well when the Nazi shows up and they're like, hey, yeah, we don't have enough to support ourselves, let alone you guys. So you might as well move on. And then that one guy's like, we do have a surplus, and everybody's just like, what the fuck are you?
God damn it, Gunner.
Yeah, Gunner.
Your parents give you that stupid fucking name, and now you ruin it for all of us.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool when they beat Sindri to death, though.
It was cool.
Because I really liked the fake out that Atticus Noble was going to kill Gunner.
Now, Atticus Noble's the Nazi?
Yeah, the head Nazi. Okay. What a name, too. Atticus Noble.
Yeah.
But I like that fake out that he makes the villagers and the viewer think he's going to kill Gunner. And then he just turns around and smashes that thing across Sindri's face.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah.
I also did like the debate of the village first of how they should handle these ships.
Yeah. Again, I think that this is the strongest part of the movie is the beginning.
Yeah.
Before it's like, we're doing a Star Wars. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, we really get into Star Wars territory after Noble leaves and he tells them, hey, get 10,000 bushels for me. I'll be back in 10 weeks.
Yeah, and they're like, that's too much. We'll starve. And that's when I said, oh, now it's a bug's life.
I didn't even think of that. It is. Some of the nobles stay behind. We get this one guy who's a super prick. Then they all turn out to be pricks. But then we start shooting at their version of C-3PO.
Yeah.
And that's Anthony Hopkins because they said they have Anthony Daniels. We're going to have Anthony Hopkins.
Nice.
You know what was hilarious to me?
What?
The robot cleaning himself in the river. I don't know why.
I thought that the robot was going to do something in this movie. But instead, there's like a good 20 minutes devoted to him. And then he fucks off for the rest of the movie. And then at the end, he shows up and he's got antlers? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be a bigger thing in the next movie.
Ah, but that's not this movie, is it, Robbie?
No, it's not. No, it is not.
What's it doing at the end of this movie then?
I will give it the benefit of the doubt on that because they did this knowing full well the sequel was coming out very shortly after.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm pretty tired of movies setting up universes on their first go. Like, fucking relax. All right?
I agree with you. But in this instance, this was Zack Snyder made 2 movies in one go.
Okay, here's another thing. Netflix. You guys stupid? Because, like, why do studios keep giving Zack Snyder full creative control over things? The guy, for some reason, couldn't make Batman and the Justice League, like, profitable. Like, he tanked it. He fucked it up. He took 3 arguably of the most famous characters in media and came out with Batman vs. Superman, a movie much maligned by, let's be honest, people with more than like 8 brain cells. Like, it's a bad movie with some good parts, but like the good parts are action. And like now Netflix is like, oh, you could come here and you could do whatever you want. But like, why? The man's not good at this. I'm sorry. He's not.
Zack Snyder has his fans.
I know, but like, does he?
Yes. His movies make a lot of money.
But
People
do
watch
they?
his movies. Yes. Look
Which
at
ones?
the numbers. Look at the box office for Batman Superman. Look at the box office for 300. Look at the box office for Man of Steel.
All those movies are like 10 years old.
Yes, I know they're 10 years old. They're not even good.
No, they're bad, except for 300. 300 is pretty good.
But he has his fans. People like his movies. And that's the thing. I think his fans are mostly teenage boys, and then you grow out of being a fan of Zack Snyder films. And that's not a bad thing. That's not an insult. He has a fan base, he has a style, and he continues in his style. In a way, I have a lot of respect for Zack Snyder.
Because he seems like a nice guy, too. Like, it's nothing personal.
No, he seems like, yes, that's absolutely true. He seems like a really nice guy. But again, if you have a style and this is the way you like creating your art, I respect that as opposed to a guy who says, oh no, let me respond to the critics who say the same criticisms of my movies every single time. Because that's the thing. His critics, our criticisms of this movie are similar to the criticisms of every Zack Snyder film.
Sure.
It looks like it's filmed in the box. The story's not great. There's too much slow motion.
There's no dialogue.
No, but name a Zack Snyder film where that isn't the issue.
I want to say 300, but like you said, I saw that when I was younger, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure if I watched it now, I'd be like, there's a lot of slow-mo, man.
I saw that in theaters in 2006 when I was 17 years old, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
If I watch it today, I'd probably go, this is all right.
There's like 900 abs here. Well, I mean, that's why I'm yelling at Netflix. Because, like, Zack Snyder, do your thing. If that's what you want to do, cool. But at the same time, like, who greenlit this? Because it's like, oh, this is Star Wars, but it's not your dad's Star Wars. There's a weird sexual assault scene. If you were watching Star Wars and you thought, man, what Star Wars needs is a sexual assault scene. Well, boy, do I have the movie for you. What are we fucking doing here? Also, it's largely bloodless. So, like, all this cool guy action shit. It's like, oh, this isn't your dad's Star Wars. Well, what? Why not? There's no fucking blood.
I can't disagree with that.
Netflix should have actually been like, you know what, Zack Snyder, do whatever you want. And then, you know what? I guarantee this is what happened. They said, Zach, do whatever you want. And he was like, all right, here's my 9-hour cut of Rebel Moon Part 1. And they're like, Zach.
That's exactly what happened because they're planning on releasing a director's cut.
Yeah. But the thing is, they should have just went R rating and let him put the blood in, because you could tell there's clearly moments in this where there's supposed to be like squibs, like blood spraying everywhere.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with you, but at the same time, you're right. That's Netflix's fault.
Yeah, no, it's fault to Zach himself. The guy's going to do what he's going to do. You don't get him for Shakespeare. You get him for, oh, cool slow-mo shit. But you know what? The action in this is the worst action I've seen in any Zack Snyder.
The action in this is not good.
Like, the choreography is bad. Like, people, like, taking a hit, and then they just wait for the next person to move. We're like, sure, that's what choreography is, but it's not smooth in this at all.
No.
It's bad.
I would agree.
But yeah, I got off track. I'm sorry.
It's fine. The robot cleans himself in the river after Marcus, the prick, shoots him a bunch of times.
I thought that looked very good. Like, the robot washing his face. Like, I don't know how they did that, because it looks real as hell.
Oh, that's the thing. Some of it looks good, but then all the environments, like the background, looks like shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything up close looks pretty good.
yeah.
So as far as I know, it was a guy in a mocap suit, probably with actual water. I don't know how they did it.
I don't know. It looks really good though.
Water is incredibly hard to animate, like hair.
Yeah.
I also like that the villagers then decide we'll just show them how good we are at farming. And
Yeah. That
Korra's like,
was
oh God.
we'll beat them by doing what they want us to do. Okay.
If we
Okay.
show them how good we are, they can't kill us.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they'll enslave you.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm ready to be enslaved. And she's like, all right, I'll just be a badass. All right.
Because she's like, I'm just gonna leave. And the guy who found her is like, no, go put a team together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
And
one guy, the old guy, doesn't volunteer to go with her.
no.
He just goes, go put a team together, Korra, and then come back and save my village.
It's rushed. It's rushed and it's bad.
Yeah. And especially when you've decided you're going to have this universe where you already have Rebel Moon's parts 1 and 2, and they filmed at the same time. But then Rebel Moon 1 is also going to get a director's cut. How much in here is there to just say, fuck it, here's Rebel Moons 1, 2, and 3 at this point?
Right. Like, I think a director's cut shouldn't add like a full hour to your movie. That's too much. I'm sorry.
You never know with Zack Snyder.
I know.
You
And
never
here's the
know.
thing, I liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. I said, like, for a 4-hour movie, I'm like not bored.
I liked it, but did I like it because I watched it in 2 parts and I just thought it was a better made film than the original Justice League?
Right, right. That's what I also thought about. Like, was I tainted by Justice League?
Yeah.
But at the same time, as I was watching it, I was like, why did Warner Brothers bury this? That was bizarre to me. Like, this is it's I think, like, generally speaking, it's leagues above, no pun intended, Justice League's above Batman versus Superman. Like, it's just a better movie overall. Yeah. And I just, it's very confusing to me that Warner Brothers was like, no, we gotta fire him, hire the guy who did Avengers so he could botch it.
In fairness, they did not fire Zack Snyder. He left the project because of his daughter's suicide.
Sure. But I think it's weird that they just threw that out. And, you know, you look at it, it's probably going to be the most expensive movie of all time.
Oh, yeah.
That made, like, nowhere near the return it needed to.
But Warner Brothers is a stupid fucking company.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Look at Coyote versus Acme. Shelved, and they're just going to destroy it.
Yeah, Catwoman. No, not Catwoman. Batgirl.
Yeah, Batgirl.
But also Catwoman. You ever see that movie?
No, I've never seen Catwoman.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, we'll do it one day.
But,
no, I'm not vomiting watching that movie.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
I'm cranking hard. I'm calling Hog Man. Anything to avoid talking about Rebel Moon.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, okay, let's get back into it. I mean, just generally, real quick, Warner Brothers used to be like a fucking haven for filmmakers.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, let's chase the profits. And they fucked up. They fucked up big time. But
this is where we get the weird sexual assault scene, and Korra stops them and fucks the dudes up.
Yeah, hate it. I hate that. I hate it.
Oh, yeah, no, it was stupid and totally unnecessary.
Why are you making me feel icky in your Star Wars movie?
You know what I really hated about that? They had one, I liked that the one young guy was like trying to stop them. So I appreciate that there was a good guy in them. But I was really disappointed that the older guy was also a prick, because early on they kind of made it seem like, oh, you don't know, he might not be that bad of a guy.
Yeah, but then he says something. He's like, I like him young because they could put him on fight. It's like, oh boy, he's worse than the other guy.
Yeah, yeah. And then he's like, I'm gonna split it. I was like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. That's too much. I'm sorry. Like, for your PG-13
Yeah.
like Star Wars ripoff. That's too much. Like if I like gave a shit, I would be upset. Instead, I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. So
Yeah.
unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the movie. It just gave Korra a reason to kill all these guys and then have to go put together the team. But I don't need the sexual assault vibes. Just have one of them attack somebody.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is it's icky, but at the same time, they needed a reason for Korra to kill all these guys.
Yeah.
But just have them do something else. I guess I really don't know. Maybe have them attack Korra in that case.
Sure. I mean, you could have them.
It doesn't have to be a sexual assault, though.
You could have it be a sexual assault, but like just imply it. Don't like it's too much. Like the guy's like, I'm gonna split it. Like, relax.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. This Zack Snyder's fans are teenage boys because teenage boys
Edgelords.
are gonna listen to that fucking line and go,
Yeah.
teenage boys and divorced dads.
Yeah. It's just like edgelord nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like when the villagers all walk in and just see the dead bodies.
Yeah, and she's like, I gotta do a Star Wars now.
I gotta do an Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I gotta do an Ocean's 11, but like kind of like Star Wars, but like in space. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, we don't know what you're saying.
She's bringing Gunner with her because he's the one who sold grain to the resistance and thus has connections to the army or to an army.
Yeah,
She tells Gunner about her childhood, talking about Belisarius taking her after killing her family. And then she tells the story of her lover dying in war. This is actually an interesting thing. I would have liked to see more of this. The idea of the mother world training soldiers, but also encouraging them to take lovers so they have a reason to fight that's more than just the mother world.
right. And like, if they leaned into that, then the movie's kind of saying something.
But like, there's your first movie.
Yeah,
Not this, where all of a sudden she's a farmer. This is your second movie. Your first movie is her ends with her lover dying in war and her taking off.
yeah, yeah. Instead, they tell it through flashbacks.
And it's so stupid.
Yeah,
Because again, well, like their first movie also should have shown the assassination of the king, the queen, and the princess, but it didn't do any of that. We have to talk about that in flashbacks, and we also don't even see the assassination in this movie.
yeah. And there's some confusion that I have, but we'll talk about that at the end.
But
It's at the end.
I think this is an interesting concept because the idea that a militaristic state would encourage its soldiers to find a lover in military, I think that's a great story because it'll almost certainly backfire on them.
Right, right,
Because inevitably you'd have people being like, I don't want to die. I'm happy with you. Let's go live our lives.
right, right. Why are we dying for them
Yeah.
when we can live for each other? Yeah,
And that's a story.
yeah, yeah. It is. But I think it was like I know that apparently Zack Snyder pitched this to Lucasfilm as a Star Wars film.
Of course
And
he
they-
did. I could
And
tell.
they bought it in 2012. They bought it. But they never used it. And I guess Netflix bought it back or something. But
It might have been one of those things where they had the rights to it for a certain number of years.
yeah, and then they reverted back or something.
Yeah. And then when they ultimately did nothing with it, the rights reverted back because that happens a lot with things.
Yeah. So I think maybe that was supposed to be like episode what is it, 7? You know, like but with new characters, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's a farm person, so like it's just, you know, Luke again.
But you know
You
what?
know?
If you put this into the Star Wars universe and had Lucasfilm's team shape this, you have something.
I agree. Yeah.
Because you could almost tell this was Star Wars and then he just had to change names.
Yeah.
Because we're getting things like instead of the Empire, it's the Imperium or something like that.
Yeah, some bullshit like that.
It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Here's a question.
Question.
Why does your laser gun have a hammer?
It's a.
Like they pull it back. It's a laser.
I
How's
have
that
no
work?
idea. It's a great question.
Thank you.
That's an excellent question. Gunnar and Cora go to this planet and they see the guy they want to meet, and he's immediately captured by bounty hunters. I do like this little contraption. It's like a spider thing.
Yeah, and like it stands them up real straight.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that
think
was
that's
cool.
really cool. They go into the cantina,
Yeah.
and some weird gross man tries to buy Gunnar for the night.
Yeah.
Again, we're doing just Star Wars because this is just the guy coming up to Luke. I don't like you, but instead he's trying to, gape him.
Yeah. So again, it's like this ain't your dad's Star
Yeah, it's like
Wars.
we're weird. We're getting
Yeah.
weird.
We get dark and weird. So like I find it weird that there's two instances of like eh, sexual something, right? In this PG-13 movie, but there's no blood. It's just that's weird. That's weird to me. Like
That's totally fair.
if you're gonna go dark, go dark.
Listen, if you want just this scene of this guy trying to buy the guy for the night, I'm totally cool with it.
It's fine. Sure.
This, I mean, I don't need the line when he's like, by the end of the night, you'll be asking for more.
Yeah. All
I
right.
don't need that.
No. No, because I cummed.
No.
That was my
Andy.
problem. And I
Yeah,
said,
well,
I don't want to come again.
very good. Well, you know what happens? He comes back because he's going to kill Cora and Gunnar.
Yeah, he says, you should have killed me.
Before that, I do like this thing that talks through the other guy, through the guy.
Yes, that was cool. I really like that design, but at the same time, when they walked into this bar and you see all these characters, I said, what is this, Rick and Morty? Like, it's just, like it's been done and it's been done better,
Yes.
and that's this whole movie. It's been done and it's been done better. Why are you wasting everybody's time and money? But good, go on.
So they meet Kai. He helps them win the fight, and then he joins them. He says he's an opportunist, and they take off. And he
So he's
also,
Han Solo, right?
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
he's Han Solo. Yeah.
Cool. That's original.
When they take off, Kai decides he's gonna stop at a ranch. He just starts telling, he's like, "No, we're just gonna make some stops along the way."
Yeah.
At some point, they should have been a little more suspicious that this guy was like, "Yeah, hop on my ship,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna make all these stops for all these people who have problems with the mother world.
Yeah.
There's no issues here. Don't question it."
I gotta tell you, because I was not invested, I did not see the twist coming
Okay, that's fair.
until it happened. And then I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
So they go to the first planet and they meet Tarek, and he's all chained up because he owes debt to David Crosby. They don't have money to pay off Tarek's debt. And then, apropos of nothing, the guy goes, "I like to gamble." Oh, cool. So you're giving them an in.
Oh, David Crosby. Yeah, he did look like David Crosby. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That scene, this is where I was like, oh, this movie's bad. Was this scene.
Yeah.
Because we get this guy we don't know, and they're like, "Oh, let you have him if you could ride the fucking what is it, hippogriff from fucking Harry Potter." And he's like, "All right," and he just talks to it, and it's like, "All right, get on, buddy." He rides it, but then it's like tumultuous, and it's all slow mo. He does a big jump, and he does a big woo, yeah, I'm having a good day. Like, I don't give a shit about this guy. Who even is he?
Yeah, and what's the point of having him fall off up there just to jump back on?
I don't know. And then, like, he doesn't even keep the thing.
No, it just automatically kills Crosby.
Yeah, he leaves it, and then it kills him. He's like, "Atta girl," and then they fuck off. What the fuck was that?
Hey, but he's joined the team.
Yeah, you need an oily six-pack man.
Hey, he's a beast tamer. He can talk to beasts. Then the team go and recruit Nemesis, who fights a giant spider who has kidnapped a child. Hey, You can't dress in all black and have a sword that glows red in your space movie, Zack Snyder.
No, you can't. Also, to go back to the hippogriff in Harry Potter, didn't you have to bow to the hippogriff?
I don't remember.
I believe that was a thing. You needed to like bow your head to it, and they do that in this. Like, there's not one original idea in this movie.
No, no.
But yeah, the lightsaber later. So we got laser swords, and we saw one earlier, right?
We may
Like
have.
one of the Imperial guys had one,
Yes,
and
I
he
think
like
you're right. I think
he cut
did.
up like some old farmer lady. But this lady's got two, and they glow red, and she's robed, like you said. And what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, come on.
What are you doing
Got to do something else. And
now?
then she speaks prophetically right afterwards. She's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can't go chasing revenge or you'll die in an alley.
yeah. So the spider lady, decent design, um, but she fights like shit. Like, she doesn't use all eight of her legs. She's just a lady who's like tall because she's got eight legs, and she's just stabbing at you with a spear. It's like there's so many ways you could have made that fight innovative and cool because it's a spider lady, but instead it's just a regular generic bullshit fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Andy, remember, she was weakened because
Yeah,
they had poisoned her air or something.
yeah. I don't remember that because I don't remember this fucking movie, Robbie.
But again, we have an interesting story of my children cannot hatch. I want revenge. All right, cool. This will be 5 minutes in the movie, and then we're gonna move on and never mention it again.
Yeah. What are we doing here? It's like all these characters that we pick up are like bad side quests in a video game, like an open world video game.
But like, give me more of their stories here.
Right. That's why I
Because
say
this, like,
side quest, because like there's no fleshing out of anything. It's just like, oh, this happened. All right. Anyway, here's your reward,
yeah,
and they get it and they move on. That's it.
yeah, and they just like explicitly say their backstory, and it's like, show me this stuff.
Yeah. And the most egregious one is the general.
Oh God, yes, yes, Titus.
They like he's just like on the street. They clean him up. He's like, "Why? Don't call me general." And she's like, "What about your men? What about the men that died?" And he's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll join you
Well,
then."
no,
What?
no, hold on, no, that is not what happens.
Okay.
It's even
Refresh my memory.
worse. It's
Refresh my
even
memories.
worse. Woohoo!
Ooh.
So the message of Nemesis is: do not go seeking revenge because you could die forgotten. When they meet up with Titus, Cora says to him, and this is less than 10 minutes later, if you're not doing it for redemption, do it for revenge. Completely ignoring the message that was just delivered 6 minutes prior.
Would you say that that's good writing?
I would say that's horrendous writing. Now, I'm waiting for the argument that it just shows all the characters of different motivations.
You're not getting that from me.
But you can't explicitly use the word revenge when someone's saying, hey, you go searching for revenge, you're going to die forgotten in an alley. And then shortly thereafter be like, hey, don't do it for redemption. Don't do it for all your men who died. Do it for revenge. So here's, but he has to die alone in an alley now.
Well, he was.
No, but he has to die there. Because the moral of these movies can't be go out and seek revenge. That's a terrible moral.
Yeah, but that's a very Zack Snyder moral.
It really is.
You know?
Kill those who wronged you.
Yeah. I don't know. I found that to be because they recruit him in like 10 minutes time.
Yeah.
Not even. Also, he's like the one that's most revered. Like, people are like, oh, you got the general. Like,
Great
from the
car
insurance commercials.
Yeah.
But like they're like, oh shit, you got General Titus, and like he barely says anything. He definitely doesn't do a fucking
He
thing.
does nothing.
And like also has wasted casting. That's what's his name? I forget his name.
I was avoiding saying it because I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either, but he's
So
great.
way to put me on to Jaimin Hunsu D. Yeah, way to put me on the spot,
I don't know, man.
asshole.
I mean, you didn't have to do it, but he's
Jimen
great.
Unsu.
Sure.
That's what it's according to Wikipedia on their phonetic pronunciation.
Well, he's
He's
great
excellent. He's a
in
great
everything he
actor.
does. Yeah. He's also swollen. Did not realize how swollen he was until see him in this movie.
Listen, if you're gonna play a general that in a movie like this, you're gonna have to be a huge boy.
Yeah.
You can't be looking like Eisenhower.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
We see the bald guy from before. He gets brought to Atticus Noble, and he tells him that the blood axes, they've been looking for all along. They mentioned this like 2 or 3 times in like passing, and it's like, show me who are the fuck are the blood axes.
yeah. Once they showed up, I was like, that just their look is like they all look ridiculous, and the fact that this movie takes itself so seriously, it just
Yeah,
like makes it more ridiculous. So like, come on, come on.
because the guy says, "Oh, the blood axes, they're with King Levitica," and here's another character straight out of Star Wars. This like octopus guy.
Octopus guy.
Maybe he's not an octopus, but he's like a fish person.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And he's like, Misa.
No.
He might as well. Yeah. It's just at this point, this movie's really washing over me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I got nothing. I'm just barely hanging on here.
Because we're just introducing characters left
Yeah,
and right still.
yeah, like just a whole bunch of characters that are not developed at all. Don't build a universe, you know.
Well, we meet the Blood Axes. Darian Bloodaxe, played by Ray Fisher, who was Cyborg in Justice League.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He dies 5 minutes after we meet him.
yeah. And we're supposed to feel really sad about it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sad. You
Yeah.
just mentioned him a bunch earlier. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit, brother.
So we get the heel turn. Kai turns the whole gang over to Atticus Noble. I got a chuckle out of the line. You're on the side that doesn't even make it into the history books.
Yeah.
This whole movie felt like Zack Snyder didn't give any actual direction because
No.
a lot of them felt like they were just doing what they felt like. Because who told Hunnam to do this Irish accent?
I don't know. He kind of flows in and out of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
also, he's got like 4 lines, so who cares, you know?
but like for an English guy to just be talking with this thick brogue, and he has a lot more than 4 lines. He has more lines than a lot of people in this movie.
Does he?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's like barely, you know what it is? Sure, there's dialogue, but none of it like sticks. Like none of it means anything. Nobody reacts to words. It's all actions, and it's just not a real world, you know? I just can't connect with this on any level.
I
And
totally
like,
agree.
I mean, the one that got me was he says to Gunner when he's like, kill your girl. He's like, I know you love her. How do you know that? They've barely spoken this whole time. And even we've seen them speak, and I didn't even grasp that.
Who told you that?
Yeah.
You like Cora. You like Cora.
Also, is he dead? Like Kai? Is he dead? Did
I think
he
so.
Gunner killed him with that thing, right?
Yeah. Although I think that's like a paralyzing machine. I don't think that actually kills the person. I think it paralyzes him, but I think the way he shot it into Kai kills him.
Oh.
Because the way they set it up I think Kai is dead. I think he's actually dead. But that machine, the way it's set up, the thing like goes like snaps your vertebra, like in between two of your like your C4 and 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that just leaves you paralyzed. But I think the way they shot it into Kai, it like shot up into his brain and killed him.
Huh. Then we get a whole bunch of lasers.
Yep.
And people just running through them. Like
Slow motion.
Yeah. It's lame, straight up lame.
It's really lame. That's where we see Blood Axe do the big heroic jump and fucking eats it as the ship
Yep.
comes crashing down. It is a sacrifice, but it's like, we just met this guy. I don't care.
Yeah, don't care. Then we get the big drag out fight between Space Nazi and Cora.
Yeah. I
And-
do like when she knocks him with his little shillelagh and you see his teeth go flying out.
Sure, but then you see him later and his teeth are still there. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't, you know, that was weird.
Yeah. And then we allude to a sequel. Because he's a robot and he's talking to the king? Is that the king who's dead?
Belisarius, the regent.
Yeah.
I think that's the regent who I think is also going to wind up being the king.
So
'Cause
he's
he's
the guy
telling-
who took over for the king.
Yeah, I was left confused by this.
Yeah, and where were they? Or in like some tundra? Like what's going on?
I don't know. Well, like he's a cyborg, and they like linked him to Belisarius, and he was like,
Okay.
"You better get your fucking job done, or I'll kill you.
Okay.
I'll kill you and everyone you love."
Now, was there a post credits? Because I turned it off.
no,
I said, "Get this
let me
shit
phrase
out of my
that.
fucking
I
face."
also turned it off because Netflix immediately went to the small credits,
Yeah.
and if a movie does that, I go, if there's a post credit scene, I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah, I just turned it. It was like 9:30. I was like, I'm going to bed. I don't like this. I'm not having a good time. I don't care.
So, listener, if you're listening on YouTube, comment below. Is there a post credit scene? Or tweet at us, send us an email at roydsreview@gmail.com. Is there a post credit scene? That's
Yeah.
listener engagement I'm trying to get.
That's pretty good.
Thanks. Yeah, then we see the robot. We see the robot again who has antlers now, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm a deer.
that final scene like of them,
I'm the
like-
deer."
very you son of a bastard.
Yeah.
The kids call it cringe, right?
Yes.
Otherwise known as cringe-worthy, right?
Okay. I'm really interested to see where you're going with this. if I'm
The
being honest.
end of this movie where they're just like in a field and they're like, we're gonna continue our journey. Like, oh, this would be a great place to die. Oh yeah, we're glad we made this journey. I'm glad we're all better for this. Like shit like that, and people having like wry smiles at each other.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. I can't
Yeah.
stand. I got like secondhand shame.
You know what I hate? I hate the pumpernickel smiles.
Oh, Robbie. But I don't know. There's like this epic music playing, and it zooms out, and there's a robot with antlers, and like anybody's supposed to care about this shit. Like, it's just so like, ugh, what are we doing? I don't know. It's bad. This is bad, and I think it's like some of Zack Snyder's worst, to be honest, because Zack Snyder shines in action. Like, I thought Justice League had great action, even though most of it's slow-mo. Like, it still looked good. This looked bad in the slow-mo. The choreography was shit. And the story's garbage. So, like, I don't... It's just like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, derivative of everything, and nowhere near as good as the stuff that it is derivative of. Like, why did we do this?
Excellent questions. Andy, I
Yeah.
think you put it best before. Before we started recording, how did you say it?
Art is derivative by nature, but come on.
And with that, would you like to go to Letterboxd?
Yes.
I'm on Letterboxd. I'll be honest. I think Zack Snyder has a vision. He executes his vision. Whether or not you like it is up to you. I do not.
Yep.
But I respect a guy who goes with his vision. I will give this 1.5 stars.
Okay. I was gonna say 1, but I'll go to 1.5. I don't care.
All right, let's go at 1.5 stars is the official Rebel Moon.
I mean, what, like, when I think good Zack Snyder, is probably like 300. Oh, Dawn of the Dead was good.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess maybe Man of Steel.
I didn't particularly care for Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is like it's kind of like I always had a theory, and again, this is just insulting to Zack Snyder. And again, he seems like a nice guy. It's no personal offense to him, but it really seems like he can't read.
That's
It
very
seems
nice. You've said that
it's
before, though.
it seems like he looks at comic book panels like in Watchmen, like he nailed the aesthetic. Like, wow, this looks just like Watchmen in every way. Looks awesome. And then just like shits on the message. Like he doesn't understand that they're not supposed to look cool while they fight. Like Watchmen is about how superheroes are shitty, but he's like superheroes fucking badass, brother. Like you missed the entire thing.
Look how big his dick is.
Yeah. Like you missed it, man. You don't get it. And then like to have a Batman movie where Batman's mowing down goons.
Yeah, look how big his dick is.
Yeah. He's mowing down goons with guns. Where like sure you want to show an older Batman who's like on the edge, but like if he's killing people, he's past the edge. What he should have done, he should have been like beating people within an inch of their life. You know?
I saw it recently, and someone had a good point, and you may have seen it too. I don't know who said it, so I'm hoping you know. But it was someone making the point of if in your universe Batman kills, why is the Joker alive?
Yeah,
At the end of Batman Superman, I forgot who said it. It may have been the Weekly Planet,
could have been. Could have. I mean, that's a point that's been brought up a lot.
but like that's something I never even thought about. Is yeah, if that's a great point.
Yeah, why would any of his villains still be alive?
If you want to make a Batman film or a Batman thing where he kills, I can live with that. If that's your
Sure.
universe.
But that's just the Punisher then.
But I don't
You know?
I don't mind it because as long as you include the detective work,
Sure.
I'm also not saying I want Batman going out shooting people with guns.
No.
But if you make a Batman movie where at the end of it, you know, I don't know, because of him, Two-Face falls to his death, or because of him, someone, you know, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, they've ruined Batman.
No, because they did that in every other Batman movie. He's killing people in all those Batman movies.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have them kill people. But at the end of the day, if he's willing to kill people, you can't then have him take in the big bad alive.
Yeah. Like even in not the Suicide yep. In
Excellent.
in Suicide Squad, the bad one. Joker and Harley Quinn are riding in a Lamborghini and they drive into the like the bay. And Batman goes in to save Harley Quinn. But
What's
why
the
would
point?
he? Why would he? You know, if he's just straight up shooting goons in the teeth, like why would he save Harley Quinn? Maybe because she's hot. Because she's fucking hot. It's bad. It's bad. Zack Snyder.
Look at the Yiddies and yams.
But Zack Snyder I think he's a competent filmmaker. I think his strengths are in the opening credit scene of Watchmen, the opening credit scene of Army of the Dead, which is the only part of that I watched because I heard it was good.
Navy of the Unconscious.
Very good. I think he thrives in opening credit scenes because because there's no story to be told, Keep doing what you're doing because, again, like you said, he's a man with a vision who completes that vision. It's just I don't like it. It's not good most of the time. Sometimes it's good. Most of the time it's not.
No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
I guess I could have one. Why a shillelagh when we have lasers and spaceships and all this technology, but you got a big wooden stick?
Speak softly, carry a big stick. Teddy Roosevelt.
Yep. A famous Nazi.
You got trivia?
I do. I have 3 trivia.
I have 3 trivia also.
Wow, that altogether, that is 6 trivia.
That's great math. You're good at math.
I know, Robbie.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Hit me with it.
Who was considered to play the Robot? Was it Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Liam Neeson, Sir Morgan Freeman, or Sir all of the above?
I'm going to say Sir all of the above.
Correct.
Yeah. Who was the first choice? Did they say who was the first choice? Because I feel like Hopkins had to be the first choice out of all of them.
They did not say. I think they got Hopkins because Hopkins has done like a couple Transformers movies, and they were like, "Oh, he'll do this."
Well, I also think Patrick Stewart would do something like this. I don't think Ian McKellen's above this.
No, I don't
Liam
think
Neeson's
anybody.
certainly not.
No, I don't think anybody's above it. I just think they were like, "Who's gonna say yes without, asking for more money or whatever?"
That's fair.
Anthony Hopkins was probably like, "I'll do it. Yeah, I like movies."
I mean, Morgan Freeman's also been in a lot of shit towards the end of his. I don't know. I think there's a lot. I think all of them, they would have had just as good a chance as getting as Hopkins.
Sure. I would say maybe not Ian McKellen. I feel like he's been more choosy.
That's fair. What planet do they meet Tarek on? Tarek is the beast's tamer.
Okay.
Ol Wadi, Bland Tuween, New Wadi, New Sorfax.
New Sorfax.
No.
What was the first one?
Ol Wadi.
Ol Wadi.
No.
New Wadi.
Yes.
Nice. I like Bland Tuween. That's
Nice.
good. This is Zack Snyder's second film filmed in digital. What was his first? Was it Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Army of the Dead, or Sucker Punch?
Army of the Dead.
Correct.
Yeah, because that was his movie right before this, which was also Netflix and also way too long. That could have been good if it wasn't way too long.
I didn't see it. I only saw the opening credits.
It had really good aspects to it, but after a while, it was like, all right, this is going on way too much.
Yeah, I think that's another problem. Yeah, he needs like a lot of editing.
Yeah. The creature that Tarek wrangles is called a Satgir, Neptune, Griftum, Bennu.
Griftum?
No.
What was the first one?
Satgir.
That one.
No.
Okay. What was the second one?
Neptune.
That one.
No, it was a Bennu.
That was close.
You were very close.
Before leaving Warner Brothers for Netflix, Zack Snyder was developing a sequel to what movie? Legend of the Guardians, Owls of Ga'Hoole, 300, Man of Steel, or Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead?
No, it was 300.
Oh, there was already a sequel to 300, wasn't there?
Yeah, he was doing another one.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be called 301 Dalmatians.
Very good.
Believe that?
Yeah. No.
Oh, you'll believe just about anything, won't you?
Where does Kai turn the gang over to Atticus Noble? Is it Gondoval, Sandoval, Carnival, Rohypnol?
The first one.
It is the first one, Gondoval, yeah.
All right, well, I wrote a song.
So did I. What a coinky dinky. So did I.
Is it?
What a
really?
coinky twink. I also have a pick to flip. What would you like, Andy?
I'll go Tails.
It's Tails, my guy.
Hey. I'll go first. I wrote a song. It's called Slow Motion and Blood because I think that Zack Snyder, he has a style, and that style is just slow motion and blood. I don't think there's really anything else to his style. And I'm not trying to hurt his feelings. He seems like a nice guy. But a lot of slow motion.
Yes.
And in this movie, not a lot of blood, but generally speaking, his movies are slow motion and blood. And I kind of wrote the song. It was very when I recorded it, it was very slow, and I was like, oh,
just
man,
like the movie.
Yeah, but I was like, this is kind of like too slow. Like as I was singing it, I was like, you could like count the syllables. It was like it's too slow. But then I said, you know what? Maybe I should lean into it because it's called Slow Motion and Blood, and most of this movie's in slow motion. So, yeah, check it out. I might revise it, depending. I don't know, but anyway, here's Slow Motion and Blood. That's Slow Motion and Blood.
I don't think it was too slow.
Yeah, I don't know. I other than that, I was gonna do like a full band thing, but I figured there's part 2, so I'll do that. I'll do that next week.
Nice.
Because
just use the same piano part.
I think so. I just might change it up.
Hey, why not?
Bit, call it Slow Motion and Blood Part 2. Because I doubt there's gonna be less slow motion. I doubt it. I doubt it, Robbie.
I doubt it also.
All right, Robbie, tell us about your song.
My song is called A Beautiful Place to Die, because at one point, one of the guys says, this looks like a beautiful place to die.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I watched this movie twice, once at work, hoping to then write my song afterwards, but couldn't remember anything. So this is what I got. Hey. It's in 6/8, and it goes like this. I'll repay my debts. I'll work the land. I'll tame the beasts. I'm good with my head. That was A Beautiful Place to Die, and I kind of focused on just putting the team together and all the different members, the three members of the gang they went and picked up.
Nice. I really like those background vocals.
Thanks. Those came as a last minute replacement to harmonizing with the lead vocals. I was trying it, and for some reason, I just wasn't nailing it. You ever be doing something, and for some reason, it never just sounds right?
Yeah.
And it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. So eventually, I just said, what if I do oohs and ahs? And then I decided to do lahs too.
I liked it. I like that. I also like the first note of your guitar solo as a pinch harmonic.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
Yeah, I've been trying to work some pinch harmonics in lately. Because I did one a few weeks ago also.
Little squeals, you know?
Yeah. So I was having fun with it. But yeah, I just kind of focused on the different characters, and doing the 6/8, I decided to do a little squeal because I was listening to Oh Darling earlier in the day.
Nice. I noticed that as well. I was going to comment that. Very nice. I like it.
So yeah, that was A Beautiful Place to Fry. I was like, I'm a fry
Nice.
cook. I need a place to fry this fish.
How about a kitchen?
That's a good spot. I have one of those.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. I gotta go move stuff out of my bathroom.
It's the worst. That's the worst place to cook, Robbie.
Hey, listen, when my wife, never mind.
Oh boy.
When I'm in the bathroom, it sounds like I'm frying chicken.
Okay.
A loud peer.
Yeah.
Because I got a big hog. All right.
Okay. Does
Andy,
that get louder?
Before we get into what we're doing next week,
yeah,
I have something very important.
Okay.
Rebel Moon. More like Rebel Loon.
Yeah.
Rebel Goon.
Right.
Rebel Spoon.
Hey.
Rebel Poon.
Ooh.
Rebel Rune. Rebel Dune.
Oh.
Rebel Zune, like a Microsoft Zune.
Oh shit.
Rebel Tune.
Okay.
Rebel Soon, like we'll be rebels soon. Rebel Boon, like oh, this would be a real boon for the rebels. Rebel Croon. And Rebel Swoon.
Wow. Now, your decision to place this before we tell people where they could find us on socials and where they can find our music and what we're doing next week. I'll be honest, it's a poor one. It's a poor decision.
Well, can I tell you the truth?
Okay.
My decision was I'm going to put that in after the songs so people hear the songs.
Yeah.
And I know that during the episode, the mid rolls will just tell them where to find all that shit.
That's true. That's true.
And if they're listening to this part, that's not going to scare them away.
That's true. That's true.
Because I did just talk about frying chicken in the bathroom.
That's true. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So I had a while ago I had people staying with us, right? And
you would listen to them pee through the door?
Yeah, as is tradition.
Andy.
In the Ferris household. No. They were saying like, oh, at night, like when I have to pee, like sometimes I pee on the toilet because like it's dark. I don't want to turn the light on. And I was like, okay. Well, first off, you're in my house now, so you're gonna either turn the light on or just fucking sit down. You can't miss if you're sitting down. And they were like, but that's what girls do. And I was like, okay, relax first off. Second, what I normally do at night, because again, I don't want to turn the light on and wake up my sleepy eyes, right? I just sit down and I'll never miss. My eyes don't even open. I sit down, I piss, I stand up, I flush, I wash my hands, and I go back to sleep. No questions asked.
I turn the light on and have no issues getting back to sleep.
Okay, if that works for you, great.
I piss on my wife.
What?
Yeah, I turn the light on in the bedroom and I just piss on her. She gets pissed. She hates it.
She gets pissed on.
Oh, yeah, she gets so mad.
Yeah, I would too, Robbie.
Yeah, well, you know what they say.
What do they say, Robbie?
If you're going to take a shower, make it golden.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Well, let me tell you where you can find.
Yeah.
Wait. What are we doing next week, Robbie?
Next week, we're doing Rebel Moon Part 2.
Are we getting hot and fresh with that?
We don't have to get hot and fresh. We could do a regular episode because it'll be on Netflix.
When does it come out on Netflix? Because I went to look and it wasn't there yet.
It just came out 2 days ago from this. It's gonna come out on Monday.
So
it comes out.
It's relatively hot and fresh.
It's basically a hot and fresh, but we're gonna be able to do it like properly because we can take notes and stuff.
All right, check this out.
Okay.
Ow! Fuck! I burnt my hand. This is hot and fresh.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Rebel Moon Part 2. It's going to be garbage. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Check it out, though.
We don't know. But where can they find our music?
Could be good. It won't be. You go to Spotify. You go to Apple Music. You go to Deezer. Wherever you get your music, you type in The Royds. Find 2 albums, a Christmas song, and some podcast songs. Now, if you want all the podcast songs, you could go to TheRoyds.bandcamp.com, and you'll find the plethora, the massive amalgamation, which is the Royds catalog.
The amalgamation?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right word.
That is not the right word. An amalgamation would be like a mashup of all the songs at once.
It's one fucking 17-day song. Or like, you'll find a massive catalog there. With our songs, guest songs about all these movies we've done. Check out our back catalog.
Check out our back dogalog.
Very good, Robbie. Where can they find us on the instant gramification?
Excellent question, Andy. You go to that Instagram. You go to X. You go to Threads. You go to TikTok. You go to YouTube. You go to anything else that I failed to mention. You type in TheRoydsBand. There we are. You might even be listening to this podcast on YouTube. If so, leave a little comment, like, and subscribe. And wherever you're listening to this, give us a 5-star review. Like to contact us? Send us an email at roydsreview@gmail.com. Wow.
Thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is very important. Also, word of mouth, more importantly, honestly, than word of mouse. But
word of Dead Mouse 5.
Very good.
He has no affiliation with this.
Not at all. But if he'd like to, he could contact us at TheRoydsReview@gmail.com. Next week, Rebel Moon Part 2.
The Scar Giver. He's like, here's a toy of Scar from the Lion King.
I'm like, wow, is this vintage? That's pretty cool. Yeah. Bye.